More for your money at metroflooringcontractors.com.
It's like, where are you? Do you know where your kids are?
I hate to say it or sound unsympathetic, but arrests need to happen.
Police did make 3 arrests this past weekend, but residents want more.
It's a little unnerving, I can tell you that. I definitely was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, well, maybe we'll just end the lease soon.
John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Containing both the largest amount of cuts in more than 16 years and almost $2 billion in tax increases, Maryland's budget was signed into law today.
It wasn't just that this was a legislative season of challenge. It was also a season of change.
On the way to bridge a massive gap while also dealing with cuts to federal funding and government downsizing, Maryland and Governor Westmore have a budget for fiscal year 2026. The governor offering that 90+% of residents will either see no change or experience an income tax reduction. But included in those new fees are a $5 per tire tax, 20% tax on sports betting, 6% vending machine sales tax, and a data IT services tax of 3%, which drew pushback from local businesses. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
The disagreement over Medicaid cuts is a big sticking point in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. The Congressional Budget Office released a report today that says it would cut $800 billion over 10 years, in part by kicking nearly 8 million people off of Medicaid. House Democratic Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar says Republicans
are willing to inflict pain on millions of Americans just to make their campaign donors happy.
President Trump insisting
we're going to leave it exactly as it was, other than for obviously waste, fraud, and abuse. We're strengthening it.
President met with House Republicans on the Hill today to drum up support for the bill. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Senator Chris Van Hollen getting into it during a Senate Foreign Relations Committee meeting today. Van Hollen accusing Rubio of flouting judicial orders in the Kilmer Abrego Garcia deportation case. Rubio insists Garcia's a gangbanger.
Mr. Chairman,
please, Secretary Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated comments like that.
Checking your money, the Dow closed down 114 points today. Traffic and weather next.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems, missed messages, and communication silos can cost you opportunities. But OpenPhone keeps you connected when it matters most. Because a flexible and intuitive phone system isn't just nice to have. It's essential to succeed. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication and helps teams collaborate seamlessly so they can stay efficient and responsive. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number, collaborating on calls and texts like a shared inbox. AI-powered features and automated follow-ups keep response times fast and customers happy. Whether you're a one-person operation drowning in calls and texts or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. Join over 50,000 businesses already using OpenPhone. Get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/radio. They'll even port your existing numbers from another service for free. openphone.com/radio for 20% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls. No missed customers.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. Cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Making sense of the media. The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Now, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Causal increase. An accident down Bethesda on 270 northbound at Old Georgetown Road has traffic jammed up from the Beltway. Delays continue northbound from 121 towards Route 80 and more delays heading in towards Frederick. In Arlington, there was an accident on eastbound 66 between Sycamore Street and Glebe Road. Left lane blocked there and traffic is slow from the Dulles Connector Road. And the westbound side of 66 still slow headed in towards Centerville. A disabled vehicle on 395 northbound at King Street blocks the right lane and traffic is slow from the Beltway. More delays northbound from the Pentagon to the 14th Street Bridge. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, rain likely, lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, more rain, highs near 59. Right now, 70 in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. You know, this Biden issue goes to the heart of our republic. If one man, if one family, if a staff at the White House, if an Attorney General of the United States, if a hand-picked doctor, if the Democrat Party and their media, they can do to the American people what they did, then what will they stop at? Nothing. Nothing. I want to give this some foundation, some context, and then I want to get into this a little bit. And when we take calls at the bottom of the last hour, I'd be very curious about your input on this. But this was something that I actually discussed in 2022, and I used the word possible dementia. You may recall this, Mr. Producer, on TV, and I was waved off. It was waved off. I was looking for the clip, but I couldn't find it. But I was waved off. No, you can't say that. In any event, it rose, a lot of eyebrows rose, but I could see, I could tell. As I told you, we have a family member who's quite ill with Alzheimer's. But I want to start this now to remind you what I said a year ago on Fox. I did an entire monologue on this. And I'll tell you what's interesting is when I do these monologues here on Fox, on Blaze, it is amazing how events catch up with the monologues. These monologues that I've done on Fox about Qatar, look at the exposure now about what Qatar is and what Qatar has done. Nobody was doing that. Or you might recall March 2017. March 2017, right, Mr. Producer? Is that when it was? No. Yeah. March 2017. We played it on the anniversary, I believe, on how we put together the spying on Donald Trump. Nobody was doing that. Let's lay the foundation for what's being discussed now, well after the fact. And so this is from June. What is the date? I don't remember, Rich. I don't have it in front of me here. June 16, 2024, opening monologue of my Fox show. Go ahead.
We see Joe Biden. We see how he walks. We see how he stares. We see how he gets angry and how he cringes. This issue of dementia is a serious issue. I should know. I've had 2 people in my family who've had Alzheimer's and 1 who had moderate dementia. It's not funny. It's very upsetting. It's depressing to watch somebody deteriorate like this. And in the early stages, they know they're deteriorating. And then how the family has to care for the person, wants to care for the person. It's not funny. You've never heard me do jokes about Joe Biden and dementia. Well, I'll make jokes about him on other things, but not that. And Potter Stewart said about pornography once, I know it when I see it. I know dementia when I see it. I think I speak maybe not for all, but for many people, many families who've seen this. The telltale signs. It's not a mystery when somebody's deteriorating. Everybody gets old and they have memory issues. They'll forget a name here and there. They'll mix things up. That's to be expected. That's not what we're talking about here. And this is why I'm so disgusted that Joe Biden is running for president, that his family wants him to run for president, that the people around him are like a Praetorian Guard pretending he's as sharp as a tack, that the American media are playing along, in fact, playing defense. It's the United States of America. We're talking about the President of the United States. We're talking about one branch of government that controls whether we go to war or not and what type of weapons we use, among 1,000 other things. You see men in the past, healthy men in their 50s, You've seen what the presidency does to them. We're the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we are facing China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. We have issues going on in this country that are ripping us apart. You can see what's going on our streets, the crime, the drugs, the anti-Semitism. It's not good enough for a president to do well in a debate or do well in a State of the Union speech. And everybody says, see, he was great for 90 minutes.
And by the way, let me interrupt. This was before the debate. Go ahead.
Many people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, early stages, can do that sort of thing. That is, you look at them and you say, actually, they're doing okay. But they're not doing okay. The job of a president is 24/7. There's a reason Joe Biden has taken vacation 40% of his presidency. There's a reason why he won't have give and take press conferences on a regular basis. There's a reason why his staff walks around him when he goes to and fro from the helicopter. There's a reason why we're seeing on television what we're seeing and we're hearing what we're hearing out of the president's mouth, because he's not well. Again, I'm not saying that as a joke. He's not well. People have heart disease. I do. People have diabetes. People have all kinds of things. And people have mental health issues. And it's not funny, but it is utterly unconscionable and irresponsible for the largest political party in this country to be nominating somebody for president who they nominated before when he wasn't well, when the vast majority of its members know damn well that what I'm saying is the truth. And the hosts in every news organization in America know what I'm saying is the truth. And the people who've met with him, Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, who go out and lie for him, they know I'm telling the truth. We have a report from the special counsel, Robert Hur, who was investigating Joe Biden for crimes related to classified information. And he found that he committed crimes. And he did so willfully under the Espionage Act. And didn't do so with presidential protection. He did so when he was a senator, when he was a citizen, and when he was vice president. But he says, I can't charge him because the Department of Justice has taken the position that you can't charge a sitting president. Plus, he says, he's not mentally fit. And so what happened? The special counsel came under a withering attack from the White House, from the Democrat Party, from the leadership of the Democrat Party, from their campaign operatives, from the media. But the man's speaking the truth. He didn't have an issue with Biden as president or being president. He had an issue when he interviewed him for 5 hours. And we have an attorney general of the United States who will not release the audio. We, the people, we have a right to hear the audio, especially now when we're making a decision about the presidency. When we see what we see and we hear what we hear, we want the audio. He comes up with some kind of cockamamie privilege. He goes over the White House. Only a president can assert privilege. Biden asserts privilege to protect his audio. This is a sham. They don't want transparency. The special counsel said Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited, both during the recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and in his interview with our office in 2023. These aren't national security secrets, the audio. The argument that, well, it could affect other investigations, how preposterous. Anybody remember the release of grand jury testimony from Bill Clinton with a cigar? Was that a national security secret? They come up with these lies. He also said, we have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden will likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That's not good enough for President of the United States. We had a report out of the Wall Street Journal by Annie Linsky and Siobhan Hughes. Now, these two have come under withering attack. They're not Trump supporters. They're reporters. Reporters tend to be Biden supporters. They're liberals, I'm sure. I don't know. But they're under attack because they dared to write an article, behind closed doors, Biden shows signs of slipping. Participants in meetings said the 81-year-old president performed poorly at times. The White House said Biden is sharp and his critics are playing partisan politics. No, the Democrats are going to run somebody for president. How is this partisan politics? Well, he's going to be the nominee. That's the problem. When President Biden met with congressional leaders in the West Wing in January to negotiate the Ukrainian funding deal, he spoke so softly at times that some participants struggled to hear him.
according to 5 people familiar with the meeting. He read from notes to make obvious points, paused for extended periods of time, sometimes closed his eyes for so long that some in the room wondered whether he had tuned out. Now it goes on, and of course it has the White House pushing back. It has the White House calling people they interviewed to tell them to call the Wall Street Journal back and tell them that actually it wasn't as we thought. This is a scam. Now there's another 4 or 5 minutes of this that we will play, if not in the next segment after the bottom of the hour, but all of this was before the debate. And why am I playing this? I'm playing it because we knew, the media knew, the Attorney General knew, the staff knew, his wife knew. And if he hadn't done that debate, he would have been their nominee. And even more, as I keep saying, I said yesterday, the 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution should have been triggered a long time ago by Kamala Harris. She knew, and by that cabinet, they knew. This was a massive, massive cover-up. This is a scandal, the likes of which this nation has never experienced. On top of another scandal, the effort to destroy Donald Trump through lawfare. The nation never experienced that either. But keep something in mind that I keep pointing out. These 2 scandals were occurring simultaneously. The effort to destroy Donald Trump, to bankrupt him, and the effort to protect Joe Biden, who is mentally disabled. And that's what the ruling class did. That's what the Democrat Party did. That's what the media did. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Pure Talk, my wireless company, a veteran-led company, believes every man and woman who has faithfully served this country deserves to proudly fly an American flag that was made in America. That's why Pure Talk is on a mission to give an allegiance flag, the highest quality American flag ever, to 1,000 U.S. veterans in time for the patriotic holidays. Switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk today. Know that you're supporting a company that will be providing these high-quality flags made in America to deserving veterans with plans from just $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data. You can enjoy America's most dependable 5G network while cutting your cell phone bill, in many cases, in half. The average Pure Talk family saves over $1,000 a year. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Mark Levin, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will get you switched hassle-free in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250 and say Mark Levin to switch to a wireless company that supports our veterans. Switch to Pure Talk.
In the district in Columbia Heights, a portion of 15th Street is closed with police activity. Between Girard Street and Harvard Street Northwest, and 26th Street is still closed with police activity as well between Benning Road and I Street. On 395 northbound at King Street, a disabled blocks the right lane and traffic is slow from the Beltway. More delays northbound on 395 between the Pentagon and the 14th Street Bridge. And in Arlington, there is still an accident on eastbound 66 between Sycamore Street and Glebe Road. The left lane is blocked and traffic is slow from the Connector Road. Now from GarageStoryFair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, rain likely, lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, a rainy day with thunderstorms possible, breezy, highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems, missed messages, and communication silos can cost you opportunities. But OpenPhone keeps you connected when it matters most. Because a flexible and intuitive phone system isn't just nice to have, it's essential to succeed. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication and helps teams collaborate seamlessly so they can stay efficient and responsive. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number, collaborating on calls and texts like a shared inbox. AI-powered features and automated follow-ups keep response times fast and customers happy. Whether you're a one-person operation drowning in calls and texts or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. Join over 50,000 businesses already using OpenPhone. Get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/radio. They'll even port your existing numbers from another service for free. Openphone.com/radio for 20% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls. No missed customers.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
75 years of research,
75 years of policy.
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Join us at nda75.org.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
We've talked a lot about the impact of eating too much red meat on your physical health. But a new study out of Harvard School of Public Health found that eating too much processed red meat was linked to a higher likelihood of developing dementia. We're talking about bacon, bologna, hot dogs, things like that. Researchers we asked about this said the outcome is likely due to the high amounts of salt, heme iron, nitrates, and other harmful additives that are used for processing. Inflammation also likely plays a role here. Now, if you want to cut back on the amount of meat you eat, processed red meats are a great place to start. Non-processed red meats can be good, poultry better, fish would be best. For a few meals every week, you might also just try swapping out animal proteins for other sources of protein, tofu, nuts, legumes. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
Will Wheaton is here. Getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse. If you're here for Jay Moore, you found the right place.
You always had a large personality. The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out.
From Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love the movie.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wreck. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
WMAL. We're going to have to wait till after the bottom to play the final few minutes of that, but that's a year ago. And people were talking around it or mocking it or that sort of thing. But I feel today, we really need to think about the consequences of something like this. The media trying to pretend that they had no role. I mean, Jake Tapper now has a best-selling book out talking about how the media covered this up in the stamp when Jake Tapper was one of the principal con artists. I mean, everybody's seen the video. Every single network other than Fox, every single one was involved in the cover-up. Every single host who talked about it, almost, was involved in the cover-up. Think about this, folks. Every single Democrat in Congress who was asked about it, but one, this guy Dean Phillips, who was running but nobody cared, covered it up. Every single one of them. Bernie Sanders, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, name them. Now, what hasn't been discussed any further, of course, is not only is it a danger to the United States, this man was meeting with foreign leaders. And they knew what we knew. They saw what we saw. Foreign leaders. This issue of the auto pen is a very, very serious issue. We're going to have Chairman Comer on the program in hour 3 at about 8:20 p.m. Eastern, because they think they know one or more of the staffers who was involved. I don't know that he'll disclose it on the program, but I will probe to see what he knows. Now, you can't have nameless, faceless staffers using an auto pen on legislation, on executive orders, on proclamation. I mean, what the hell's going on here? And then they ran him again until they had to pull him. But they wanted to do it again. That's the point. You have the cabinet that was involved in a cover-up. You have the vice president who was involved in a cover-up. You have Milley, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was involved in a cover-up. The Attorney General of the United States was involved in the cover-up. Look at the extent, the breadth and width of this cover-up, of this scandal. The ruling class, the people who control the presidency and the House of Representatives and the Senate. Look what they were doing. At the same time, they were destroying our justice system to try and take out Donald Trump. Let me be as clear as I know how. They were trying to take out Donald Trump to clear the pathway for Joe Biden, who was incapable of functioning as a president. That's what the ruling class was doing. They were using the power of government, in the greatest cover-up in American history to try and get Biden through another election. And then they were using the power of the Department of Justice, of U.S. Attorney, of local DAs, of an Attorney General in New York to try and take out his main opponent. It wasn't one or the other. It was both. Both were taking place. And now finally you'll hear some people talk about this tomorrow. But I've been talking about it. We touched on this yesterday. I'm trying to underscore the point today, just how thoroughly diabolical this sabotage was. And you were the target. You were the target of the whole thing. We'll be right back. My friends, you've worked hard your whole life. You've paid your taxes, raised your families, played by the rules. But now you're looking around and wondering, what happened to the country I love? Here's the good news. You're not alone. Millions of patriotic Americans over 50 feel exactly the same way, and they're taking a stand. Taking a stand to bring fairness back, to root out waste and fraud, and proudly standing for our Judeo-Christian values. But you can't do it alone. That's where the Association of Mature American Citizens come in. AMAC is the senior organization that actually aligns with your values, faith, freedom, and common sense. Just $16 a year. Just $16 a year? Wow. You'll join a nationwide movement, and you'll get a subscription to the AMAC magazine, the best of the best. Plus access to money-saving discounts and benefits on things you already use and need. Join now at amac.us/Levin. That's amac.us/LEVIN. You've done your part for this country. Now let the Association of Mature American Citizens do their part for you.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. Breaking this hour on Friday, Metro will start automatic train operations, which control a train's acceleration, deceleration, and speed on the green and yellow lines. The announcement coming days after the Washington Metro Rail Safety Commission told Metro it would not be able to expand it until safety concerns were addressed, including multiple red line trains using automatic train operations stopping beyond the platforms. The commission says those safety concerns have been addressed. A shooting during an elementary school track meet held in the grounds of the old Springarn High School in Northeast today leaves a man dead. D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith says around 2 p.m. the man was walking on the sidewalk near the track field when 3 men approached and shot him before driving off. No children or staff were hurt. Police found the vehicle, but not the men. Traffic and weather next.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesandschools.org. Being present matters.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
There is a troubling trend I want to tell you about. Younger women being diagnosed with cancer more often than they used to. According to a new report by the American Cancer Society, cancer diagnoses are shifting from older to younger adults and from men to women. Young women are now nearly twice as likely to be diagnosed with the disease as young men. Breast and thyroid cancers are what's driving this. Now, why? Well, experts think it's a few things: obesity, lack of physical activity, alcohol consumption, and even changes in fertility patterns. Now, the good news, while the rate of diagnoses is up, death rates are largely coming down. And that's due to better screening tools, more effective treatments. And don't forget, early detection is going to be key with any cancer. So don't put off those mammograms or other recommended appointments. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So why real estate?
We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week.
Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today.
You can buy a quality rental property today
And build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly.
These are my favorite markets for cash flow.
And build wealth long term.
The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
WMAL.
The establishment's worst nightmare. Mark Levin. Call in now. 877-381-3811.
All right, let's take a listen to about a year ago of the second half of what I was explaining about Joe Biden. And I go into some very significant particulars, I believe. Go ahead.
The Democrat Party is running a man for president who shouldn't be president. We have a 25th Amendment to the Constitution. Section 4 of the Constitution requires the Vice President of the United States and the cabinet to care more about the country than they do their own party in power. But we don't have a vice president and a cabinet who care more about the country than their own party and their own power. What does it say? Whenever the vice president and majority of either the principal officers in the executive departments or of such other body of Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president. And it goes on to say the president can push back, provide a letter to Congress, and then Congress has to take the subject up, and by a supermajority can make the decision on whether or not the president is fit or not. That's a serious constitutional amendment. It's in the Constitution. It's the 25th Amendment. The Kamala Harris and that cabinet wouldn't dare do that. But they should, but they won't. So that part of the 25th Amendment is a dead letter, which, by the way, is a footnote, is a reason why Congress needs the audio. To take a listen to it and make a determination whether we needed another amendment or fix this amendment.
Now let's stop there as I'm live commenting on this. This is crucially important. The Attorney General of the United States heard that audio. They transcribed that audio. They would not give the audio, not even to Congress. The fact is that Congress can trigger the 25th Amendment, but he didn't want them to trigger the 25th Amendment. He knew, because he's part of the cabinet, he didn't trigger the 25th Amendment. He should be held to account. He also, however, withheld that audio from the other members of the cabinet who really didn't need it, but nonetheless, and presumably the vice president. The Attorney General of the United States was a main player in this massive cover-up, his deceit of the American people, and his deceit of Congress. He was also the main player in the war against Donald Trump, the effort to throw him in federal prison and to bankrupt him. This man who came across as sort of an elderly former judge with a very calm demeanor and thoughtful comments and so forth and so on, was nothing but a raw, power-hungry operative. That's all he was, Merrick Garland. And I'll say for the third time tonight, so members of Congress can hear me, he needs to be held to account for both sides of this unprecedented, outrageous scandal. The defensive efforts to protect Joe Biden and the offensive attacks aimed at destroying Donald Trump. The man who was in charge of that was the Attorney General of the United States. He did both. He did both. The Department of Justice, other operatives there, the Deputy Attorney General, the head of the Criminal Division, the Associate Attorney General. They did both. They unleashed a special counsel unconstitutionally against Donald Trump, while at the same time, they were protecting Joe Biden from the 25th Amendment, from discovery by the American people, and from Congress. Go ahead.
For a great republic. It's just unacceptable for a great republic. And 100 years from now, assuming this republic still exists, they're going to wonder, who the hell were these citizens who voted like this? Or this corrupt media, the corrupt Democrat Party? The history's too late. This needs to be dealt with now. Now, what am I talking about? Again, in all seriousness, and of course I'll come under it. I don't care. The truth is the truth. There's 7 stages of dementia. Verywellmind.com is just one of many, many sites, medical, that point this out. And dementia progresses in stages ranging from mild to severe. Isn't it amazing we haven't had this discussion any time in the last 5 years on any network? Because they try to intimidate us. This needs to be discussed. It needs to be analyzed. It needs to be vetted with the American people. We need to know as much as we can. And I'm not going to cover this up. 7 stages of dementia. And so the first stage is no cognitive decline.
Let's stop here for a moment. Again, I'm live now. Now I go through this, and you'll hear the last few minutes. So there's no way Jake Tapper didn't hear this, or these other people didn't hear this, the Democrats in Congress, the staffers. They all heard it. They all knew I was right. And they marched on. And they marched on. You know, when Jake Tapper says in his now best-selling book, which is really a disgusting disgrace, this grifter who helped cover up, participated in the worst scandal in American history, certainly the worst political scandal in American history, is not profiting from it. I can't think of anything more grotesque and immoral, quite frankly. But that said, there's no way this could have been missed, certainly by anybody close to Biden or anybody who talked to the people close to him. And as I said at the time, as I said last week, as I said yesterday, and I'll say again, his wife, Jill Biden, is utterly evil. Evil. Because she knew everything about it. His bathroom habits, his ability to get dressed in the morning, what kind of mood he was in when he was awakened in the morning. I mean, she saw it up close and personal. She knew better than anybody else. But she was power hungry. And does everybody remember why this government exists? It exists for we the people, not the power hungry, not the rulers. We the people. Go ahead.
Function normally and doesn't exhibit any signs of memory loss, confusion, or cognitive impairment. However, the structure and functioning of their brain may have started to deteriorate as the nerve cells, the neurons in their brain start to lose connection with other brain cells and die. Okay, people can function that way. Stage 2, very mild cognitive decline. The person starts to experience occasional lapses of memory, such as forgetting where they keep familiar everyday objects, forgetting names they once knew very well. At this stage, the symptoms are unlikely to affect the person's work or social interactions. We know a lot of elderly people who have this problem. Okay, fine. Most of them aren't president, by the way. Stage 3, mild cognitive decline. Now it gets more serious. This is a stage where cognitive impairment starts to become more noticeable to the patient, as well as their friends, family members, and colleagues. The person may start to show symptoms such as getting lost while walking or driving, particularly in unfamiliar places, reading something and retaining very little of it, forgetting the names of people they just met, losing items of importance or value, having trouble concentrating and performing complex tasks, experiencing increasing difficulty in social settings, and so forth. Stage 4, moderate cognitive decline. This stage, the person will exhibit a definitive decline in cognitive ability in a clinical interview. Lack of knowledge of current and recent events, difficulty remembering parts of their own personal history. We have that in her report. Trouble with organizing, planning, traveling, and managing finances. And it goes on. Stage 5, moderately severe cognitive decline. From this stage onward, the person may no longer be able to function without some assistance. Some of the symptoms: difficulty recalling an important detail, such as their address, phone number, or high school, or the date of their son's death, or when they were vice president, I would add. Disorientation in terms of place and time, such as confusion regarding the season, date, day of the week, or time of the day, or mixing up names of people, or turning in the wrong direction and staring into the sky. And other problems like trouble with making decisions. At this stage, the person can likely still remember their own name and the names of their spouse and children, but they may struggle with recalling the names of their grandchildren. They may be able to eat and use the bathroom without assistance, but may need help with tasks such as deciding what to wear and so forth. Stage 6, severe cognitive decline. And stage 7, I don't think the president is at stage 6 or 7. I think he's heading there, and he's heading there very quickly. If I had to guess, he's likely well into stage 5. I don't know. But Jill knows. His doctor knows. The experts out there know. And we, the people, need to learn more about the cognitive state of the President of the United States, and they need to stop playing cat and mouse with us. This is about the country and the future of the country. That's the bottom line.
So that was before the debate, and I'd mentioned it on other occasions on Hannity's show, on this show, and on my own Fox and Blaze shows. And look, you saw it yourselves. But I felt somebody needed to pull it all together and speak out, and so I did. And nobody else had. I mean, Rich, nobody else had. I looked at people on my own network. I've looked at people in talk radio. I looked at people on other networks, newspaper companies. So nobody was just pulling it together and laying it out. So I did it. So Jake Tapper comes along and he writes a book about all the cover-ups. I'm not a journalist, America. I'm one of you. I call it as I see it. I'm a partisan for America. This whole getup, this whole setup of the government is for you. It's to protect you. Now, what you saw there is what I call negative power and negative language, negative power. They will do anything for power, and they did. And then they will use coercive language and threats and bully tactics to hold on to that power. That's what you saw. That's what happens in tyrannies. The positive power is the pushback. Our nation was founded on positive power, not on negative power. The whole Constitution is a model of positive power. How do you set up a governmental system that holds the country together while at the same time nurtures individual liberty? Positive power, and again, I'll get into this more tomorrow because we're not going to have enough time today, is it starts from an altogether different premise than negative power. It starts from the belief that God is the sovereign. Your country started this way. Read the Declaration. And through God, his children, you, the individual and the people, you're the sovereign of our society. Not a handful of people, not some governmental contraption, you. So power properly understood and exercised in the context of government is about the well-being of the people, not the rulers. The people are the sovereign, not the governing authority. And importantly, the belief in God-given eternal rights, natural law, unalienable rights, those words are in your Declaration of Independence. That's the basis of a moral and virtuous society that transcends any ruling class. Again, I'll deal with this more tomorrow, but it is in my new book on power. And it's totally relevant. These are the two forces, not the oppressed versus the oppressor. That's Marxism. It's we the people versus the ruling class. If the ruling class were as contemplated by the framers of your Constitution, I call that positive power, that would be one thing, but they're not. They're constantly looking for ways, whether through rogue, unelected federal district judges, through open borders to change the demographics, change the citizenry, to change the vote, changing the voting system to empower one political party against another, trying to find ways to silence open and free speech when open and free speech is absolutely necessary, including during a pandemic. This is what we're up against, this negative power. And, it's sad to say, don't shoot the messenger here, but the trajectory, whether it's in our country with respites like Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, but the trajectory in Europe for sure is in the wrong direction. That is, negative power is devouring positive power. That's what's happening. Positive power, one's approach to life and role in society more involves practices and decisions and values and beliefs that together form one's life philosophy. That results from learned, cognitive, reactionary, experiential, or even instinctive thought processes. And significantly, faith. Now, that doesn't mean everybody has a faith or believes in religion or even believes in God. But that's what our society was established on, whether they believe it or not. And they get the benefit from the society that is established that way, whether they want to believe in these things or not. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
On the inner loop of the Beltway in Forestville at Pennsylvania Avenue, a disabled vehicle moved to the left shoulder. Now the traffic is jammed from reaching Marlborough Road. Still a slow go on the inner loop as well, between the Leesburg Pike and the Spur, and from Old Georgetown Road to Georgia Avenue. Outer loop is slow. It's between the Springfield Interchange and the Wilson Bridge. On 395 northbound at King Street, a disabled still reported in the right lane, and traffic is jammed from Duke Street. Earlier crash on eastbound 66 between Sycamore Street and Glebe Road, moved to the right shoulder, but you will still find slow traffic from the Dulles Connect Road. Now from GarageDoorCare.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, rain likely, lows in mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, a rainy day with thunderstorms possible, breezy, highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
You know, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected. Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy. But if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only, and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with you 100%.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
There's a lot of us out there
making sense of the news. Breaking news and the inside story on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
You know, summertime is a very expensive time. For expenses stack up: vacations, gasoline, college tuition, camp, and so forth. A lot of people are forced to swipe credit cards to cover all of it, leaving them trapped in credit card debt, the credit card spiral. Do you regret? Not so much regret. Are you upset? Are you, when you go into the mailbox and you pull the bills out? I hate getting the mail, Mr. Producer. There's always bills in there. Well, for homeowners, there's a way out. Not a magic wand, not a scheme, a real plan to reset your finances. The American Financing, they know how to build homeowners a plan tailored to you. They look at where you are, what you owe, how your home's equity could work smarter for you. You could roll high interest debt into one simple, manageable plan with a much lower interest rate, tax deductible up to $10,000 without adding any new stress. As a matter of fact, eliminating your stress. There's no upfront fees. There's no pressure. Just real advice from real people. Their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like $10,000 a year. That is meaningful. That is a lot of money. If you start today, you might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments right away. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are standing by. And they're open 7 days a week. It only takes 10 minutes to get started. Call American Financing today. Here's the number: 888-900-1828, 888-900-1828, 888-900-1828, or visit AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of reports out there. There's a lot of leaking taking place to Axios. This phony guy by the name of, what is his name? Barack Ravid or something or other, Mr. Producer. You know who I mean. And some of the others. That the White House is pressuring Israel to hurry up with Gaza already, that these pictures are too much. These are leaks. And I think I know at least one, if not two, of the people who are leaking. Axios ran with that. And Pat Ward, senior White House, not Pat Ward, that was sent to Pat Ward at the Fox News channel to correct this. Max Bluestein, the spokesman for the National Security Council, he said this is absolutely false. Israel has had no better friend than President Trump. We continue to work closely with our ally Israel to ensure that remaining hostages in Gaza are freed, that Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon, and that every opportunity for regional economic prosperity, especially the expansion of the Abraham Accords, is exploited. As Secretary Rubio explained over the weekend, what the president is saying is he doesn't want to end the war until Hamas is defeated. The leak said that the president, the administration, was pressuring Israel to get this over with. And the White House formally said, that's not what we said. These leaks are outrageous.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You give me hope.
Making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Searching for an inside look at the people, stories, and passion that fuel the state of soccer in America? The United States Soccer Federation will be launching the all-new U.S. Soccer Podcast. Episodes will go beyond the field with players, coaches, and legends to bring you honest conversations and untold stories. This is where soccer will come to life. The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platforms.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will.
We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories, stream your favorite WMAL shows, access our podcast archives, and more. WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. Terror at an elementary school track meet in D.C. today when police say 3 men fatally shot a man walking on the sidewalk near the track field. Police Chief Pamela Smith says it happened around 3 p.m. as the track meet was going on at the grounds of the old Spring Arn High School in Northeast.
No child should ever have to experience what was experienced on today. Today's incident is completely unacceptable. During an elementary school track meet, individuals opened fire, putting the lives of our children at risk.
No children or staff were hurt. The search is on for suspects who drove off after opening fire. Police have found the vehicle they were in. Tonight, the Fairfax County School Board will meet to consider revisions the superintendent made to her proposed budget after the Board of Supervisors approved an FY26 budget $121 million short of what she requested. Her proposed revisions would drop teacher raises from 7% to 6%. This teacher telling the school board last week.
Now we're in a situation where we have to make up $121 million in funding that our Board of Supervisors did not fund us. We have to make up for their failures.
Supervisor Jeff McKay defending the budget, saying the board approved a $118 million increase for schools over what they got this year, and that will give teachers substantial and well-deserved raises. 160 plus bills signed into law today by Maryland Governor Wes Moore. Among them, the the state budget.
It wasn't easy. It was not simple.
The governor adding the uncertainty of economic times is the true challenge.
The obstacles that we're up against did not change from month to month or from week to week. We all saw they were changing from day to day.
The budget featured $2 billion in cuts,
while still reserving 8% in the rainy day fund above the recommended level.
Despite Governor Moore stating the majority of Marylanders will experience no change or an income tax reduction, there are new taxes and fees, including an increase of the cannabis tax to 12% and the controversial data and IT services tax of 3%. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Maryland's Attorney General says his office is cracking down on housing discrimination as the federal government reshuffles its civil rights priorities within the Justice Department.
The enforcement of civil rights protections is not just a policy goal, it's the bedrock principle that guides our work.
AG Anthony Brown announcing a triad of housing discrimination settlements, including
Habitat America and the Commons at Avalon in Frederick County, which charge higher rents to residents who are using housing vouchers.
The company ordered to make restitution. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
As the Commanders look to the future with the new stadium, the team's being dragged into its past.
The descendants of a Montana tribal chief who inspired the Redskins logo, John Two Guns Whitecap, is suing the Commanders, the NFL, and the estate of the Indian artist who created the image. Whitecap's descendant, Morningstar Gopher, tells NBC Montana her family never received any consideration.
They never concerned themselves with, oh, maybe there might be people out there who may be his descendants.
Neither the team nor the NFL is commenting. The family of the artist, Blackie Wetzel, says the suit is baseless, but Gopher warns.
We're not going quietly.
John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
President Trump unveils his design for a $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense shield, which
will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world.
Critics aren't sure it will be effective. Traffic and weather next.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really big. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Here's Steve Hirshhorn and Michelle Murray, in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Traffic is still jammed on the inner loop between the Leesburg Pike and the 270 spur, and then very slow from Old Georgetown Road to Georgia Avenue, where an accident now blocks a deceleration lane. Earlier disabled on the inner loop at Pennsylvania Avenue, moved to the left shoulder, but it is still slow from Medical Center Drive, and the outer loop is slow through Largo, and also slow from the Springfield interchange to the Wilson Bridge. Still a slow go on the freeway between the 14th Street Bridge and the 3rd Street Tunnel, but the earlier incident on 395 northbound at King Street now moved to the right shoulder. More delays northbound from 110 to the 14th Street Bridge. And in Columbia Heights, a portion of 15th Street remains closed between Girard Street and Harvard Street Northwest due to police investigation activity. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast. Traffic is still jammed on the inner.
Areas of rain tonight will continue into tomorrow, a cool Wednesday, upper 50s to lower 60s. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 69 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. You know, I'm very impressed with this cabinet. They have been on Capitol Hill, House and Senate committees overseeing their budgets, and the Democrats have used it as an opportunity to try and smear and attack. And to a man and a woman, these cabinet officers have done a fantastic job of pushing back. Don't you think, Mr. Producer? Really good. Really good. And it was Marco Rubio's term. And he had a few things to say. And RFK Jr., he's been kicking ass up there. I'm just telling you the truth. This guy, I told you before, I was, I wasn't sure what to make of the guy. But the more I listened to him and the more I watched, doesn't mean I agree with everything, but I agree with more than I thought I would. The more I'm liking him. Anyway, here's Marco Rubio today regarding Hamas. Cut 18, go.
I think the central question for the future of Gaza is going to be who governs it. Because as long as there's a group like Hamas there, it's going to be very difficult to envision long-term peace and prosperity. So whether it's Hamas or some successor organization that spins out of it, that has to be a factor that you eliminate. And one of the ways you prevent it is by having a governing authority on the ground in Gaza that can provide the security necessary to allow there to be the peace necessary so you can have the prosperity we hope for.
Well, I'm not sure all that's going to happen, but what I liked about what he said is that you're not going to have any kind of peace as long as you have Hamas. Now, the leaks that are coming out of we don't know where, but I think I know who's leaking, is that the Israelis are defiant, that the Israelis won't give in, that the Israelis won't do a ceasefire, the Israelis this and the Israelis that. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Qatar is a mediator. A mediator when Qatar funded October 7th. And Qatar says Israel's the problem because they keep attacking Hamas. Now think about that. How sick that is. Here he is today, Rubio, about Iran. Cut 19, go.
Well, I think it's clear for the Iranians. I mean, we're going to continue with sanctions until there's a deal otherwise. And by the way, there's also another set of sanctions out there that involve things like the sponsorship of terrorism and things of that they're doing. But when it comes to the nuclear program, until there's a deal, there's going to be sanctions. That's just the way it works. And so that's the president has issued an executive order for maximum pressure, and that's being executed on every single day. None of these are being slowed down while we're engaged in these talks. Ultimately, if we are able to reach a deal, then obviously that could be a part of it, but we're not at that stage yet. So look, we hope that there can be something done. These will not be easy. And by the way, one additional note on it is there's a separate set of sanctions out there, which are the snapback provisions that the E3 in Europe have. That's on another clock, completely different from ours. And I want to be clear about that. What they decide to do with their sanctions. Now, maybe we'll do a deal with Iran and they'll be satisfied with it and not impose their sanctions. But I met with the E3 again. What day is it today? Tuesday? I met with them maybe 4 days ago in Turkey. And they are moving forward on their process, independent from ours, that could impose additional sanctions as early as July, August, September, October, November, September, October of this year.
We will be waiting. Can't wait to see what this deal is. President Trump on the Golden Dome by the end of my term. This is crucially important. Cut 20, go.
In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. and we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful, and now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air.
And what's incredible is I want you to remember, American, I did a whole show on this here and on TV, how the Democrats fought Reagan tooth and nail. I hope they don't fight Trump tooth and nail because they're trying to protect us. They're trying to put systems in place that will protect us. Pete Hegseth commented on this as well in the Oval Office. Cut 21, go.
Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are when the others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein, leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. And we have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete.
Don't you love Hegseth? The energy, the motivation, the can-do mindset. Despite what the Democrats and the media say, he's been a hell of a Secretary of Defense. He really has. I mean, it's early on, so he's got more time to do what he needs to do. But they tried to take him out. He weathered a hell of a storm. He really did weather a hell of a storm, and he did a fantastic, and he's doing a fantastic job. All right. Let us swing back to the gentleman I spoke to earlier, Robert Kennedy. The Democrats hate him because he joined with Trump, because he was running as an independent, because he left the Democrat Party. They hate his guts. He's using the Kennedy name, which they own, they believe, in every respect. And so he's going at it here with Murray, Senator Murray from Washington State. Cut 16, go.
I want to point out something, Senator. You presided here, I think, for 32 years. You presided over the destruction of the health of the American people.
Well,
our people are now the sickest people in the world.
Seriously.
Because you have not done your job.
Seriously. That is an
what have you done about it? What have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Mr. Secretary,
what have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Seriously, Madam
Secretary, I would ask you to hold back and let the senator ask the questions.
Again, this cabinet is really amazing. They are fighting back. Kash Patel, FBI director, cabinet or not, I mean, he was unbelievable. Robert Kennedy, one hearing after another. He is fantastic. Rubio, you have the others. Chrissy Noem has been absolutely unbelievable. I can go right down the list. As they punch back, they're not gratuitous, they're very substantive, but they go on the offense, which is what I would do, of course, but that's what they do. They go on the offensive. Cut 17, go.
And what we're trying to do is eliminate the redundancy. There's no way to govern this agency. This agency has a budget that is comparable to the sixth largest nation in the world. And we have no governance because these are all in silos with their own infrastructure, and we're trying to consolidate them, and that's why they don't work. That's why we throw more and more money every year, and Americans are the sickest people in the world. We spend 2 to 3 times for healthcare what other nations spend, and we have the worst outcomes on earth. And if somebody does not reorganize this mess, it is going to continue. And we're trying to do it, and we're going to make some mistakes as we do it. But ultimately, I can tell you 4 years from now, the American people are going to be a lot healthier.
This is a thankless job, HHS. It is massive. It's got so many departments within departments and divisions within departments and offices within divisions and units within offices. He's exactly right. They cobbled this together. It was the Department of Health, and I'm trying to, Education and Welfare, Health, Education and Welfare, HEW. They broke off education. They created this monstrosity Department of Education. But they throw all this social welfare, all this socialist stuff into HHS. That's where most of it is. And he said, we're trying to get our hands around this. We're trying to get this integrated. We're trying to figure out who's in charge of what. And I'm telling you, it is a monumental task. Monumental task. And so they're attacking him. Why? Why are they attacking him? Because they created it. This is what they want. They've created this abomination. And can you imagine government-run healthcare? It's enough that the government runs effectively 30 to 35% of our healthcare system and influences the other 65%. It truly does. Through Medicare, Medicaid, other programs.
Here, or just roll a fucking joint.
The federal government determines pricing. As a matter of law.
You got a problem? Is there a problem? Did I fucking break a rule or something or what? The fuck? I gotta plug my laptop in.
We got all these potentates. They're running in their own direction.
You owe me, Gotti. You fucking owe me, pal.
So rather than giving them that a boy,
you better fucking pay up too.
They try
you fucking owe me.
Kneecap them. And you see this throughout the agencies and departments. You really do. But I think the president really has done a fantastic job of picking people. They're mostly young. They're mostly energetic, very smart, very competent. The Democrats, try to take...
I don't know if I want the fanfare.
And make the argument, oh, they're inexperienced, they're incompetent. No, that's them. That's them. I think the way he's speaking on the executive board to talk about this and these departments is really, it's historic. I've never seen anything like this before.
Oh, this is fucking making me laugh.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about this.
Do you have yellow toe fungus?
It works from both the inside and the outside.
Does your wife have yellow toe fungus? Women can get it too,
Good evening, Billy. Good evening.
Hi, Gotti.
What do I owe you? What do I owe you now? What's going on?
I don't know. You got to wait until I request it.
Something to be determined, huh? Something in the future.
I might want you to make me a couple avatars.
Avatar? Oh, what?
They use my ideas all the time.
Who do you need? Who do you need done?
I want an avatar of a couple people kissing Logical on the cheek.
Well, first of all, I mean, that's not going to happen.
Are you supporting Logical? Are you going to say
I don't
something
even have his picture. I don't even have his picture to use make a picture like that.
Well,
who do you want him to kiss? Who do you want him to kiss?
My ass.
It would be like an eclipse. No one would see it. No one would see him. Are you in Wigan on the outs? What's going on?
Nah, he just does that to make people think that we don't like each other.
Oh, he told you that? Okay, that's the plan.
You think he'll reinstate me? It's true. I went up on JC's panel a second time and that fucking Guitar J, they think they're teaching me a lesson.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Guitar J?
They're the teachers of YouTube. They're the instructors of how to.
I went there in fucking peace. I went there to make peace. I even brought up about Memorial Day. And she let that. Why does she even have an administrator like that?
You think they give a fuck about Memorial Day? They don't give a shit.
I won't ever go back to JC's. If I do, it's going to be to troll her. Nobody has fooled JC more than I have.
You know, I come to the realization one of the biggest problems. Now, you tell me if I'm wrong because I know you're an honest guy. One of the biggest fucking problems on YouTube, especially with these people that have streams, is they have a fucking gratitude problem. A big fucking gratitude. Tell me if I'm wrong, Billy. A big fucking gratitude problem.
I've never been to AJ's. You know, when I first started and Logical had his stream, right? I wasn't welcomed over there.
I don't know who AJ is.
Woman.
I don't know. I never heard of her.
She's I don't know if she's in California, ever who she is. Rusty knows her, that's for sure.
But after all you've done for Wiggin and after all I've done for JC, they don't fucking appreciate shit. They don't appreciate a goddamn thing. I don't know who raised these fucking mongrels, but they got no fucking appreciation skills at all. Zero. Absolute zero. Tell me, am I wrong?
No. There's a lot more that can be added to that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I don't want to throw you in there because I'm a guest on your panel, but sometimes you act the same way.
What? Ungrateful?
Yeah, very ungrateful, very.
You want to see how bad I can be ungrateful?
I'm leaving anyway. It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Billy. Smoke your weed and enjoy your light.
You know,
don't worry.
Yeah, how the fuck why would I be jealous of JC and anything she's doing?
Billy, they have to say that to get you riled up.
It's like, what the fuck is it?
She wants to use you as a fucking dog so that she can kick around whenever she needs to kick somebody around. You hit a nerve when you bring up the rape. You bring up the rape every fucking day. Well, you hit a nerve. So she's going to use you as a punching bag. It's like she's raping you now.
She should have never doxed my mother.
That's the thing. It all goes back to that. Why did she do it?
Because Randy and Kurt, it's the only weapon he had. They want to make me mad.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Now I have a very serious question for you. Why did Rusty get Wiggin to go live?
When, today?
No, to get him to start his stream. I watched the whole thing.
When
he first started streaming. Wiggin's out here acting like he's been doing this for years and years and years. Okay. If you're gonna have a chat, you gotta have side chatters, right?
Oh, he wanted control. That's why.
So did they open it to go after JC when he did it? Because he did attack JC a lot. One minute it's hate JC, and then the next minute I'm being mean to her. He called me a liar. He didn't believe that Guitar J did that what I said. And he started. I'm there just to make that his chat about me. Yeah, it's sickening. It's fucking that he does that shit. He called me a liar. I'm not lying. JT put me backstage. He stopped me from going after Sebastian. Period. I didn't attack JC. I went after Sebastian.
Where, on JC's panel?
A couple 3 nights ago, yeah. The
I
other
didn't
day
see any
when
of
I
that.
went up first, Wicked was up there, right? Everything's all nice and peaceful. And then 2:00 in the morning, I go up there again, right? And I go up there because Sebastian's up there, LD's up there, and I get put backstage.
Don't you understand that JC creams herself whenever Wiggin gets on the panel? She can't wait to cream herself fucking like a fucking Niagara Falls when he gets up there. And Dot's fooling herself if she thinks she's not going to lose Wiggin to JC. It's all a fucking ploy they got going on, man. They keep playing this fucking game, and everybody else is fucking supposed to fall in line. I don't think so. The jig is up. You might fool suckers like this retard Mad Jim or these other fucking limeys over there or these other fools that she has on the panel like Angie and Randy retard. But you're not going to fool Gotti and Billy because we know the fucking truth, dude. We know the fucking truth, JC. Why is it every time you search for Wiggin, JC pops up?
Have you
ever noticed that?
Have you told Jay? Hold that thought. Have you told JT the truth about what happened in JC's chat over me having a wrench and you timing everybody out and me taking the blame for it?
Yeah, I think you heard that story. Yeah, I did mention that.
Go ahead, your thought. Yes, you're right on point. I like to let people talk when they're on point. Sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, I was just reminding everyone that you do a search for John Wiggin, JC always pops up for some reason. Always pops up. Why is that? Why is that?
He's been using JC against me from day one.
It's a fucking game they're playing. It's a fucking game, I tell you.
And I can prove it. Because Petro Papadopoulos, he made the comment, right? He doesn't like me, but when I go after JC, he loves it.
And now Tiffany and Sebastian got an affair going on, and we're not supposed to talk about it because what? All of a sudden, we're not supposed to bring up her shit
and talk shit. Patrick Rowe is doing it, and insert Andy 504. These motherfuckers they're gay motherfucks.
Tiffany fucking has dicks of every fucking guy on YouTube, cheating with everybody. I have a fucking whole handful of people she cheats with. And we're not supposed to bring it up, Billy. We're not supposed to bring it up.
Did you see the comment I made? Did it go through? I asked Tiffany, or not asked her. How did I word it? Let's see. Did I save that motherfucker? Let me look. Right. She's always trying to justify to her husband that other men want her.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's into that shit. He's into that shit. She's not attracted to him at all. So he gave her fucking a hall pass to go and fuck with whoever she wants on YouTube. Unfortunately for him, it's everybody on fucking YouTube. You know what I mean?
I did save it. There it is.
Wait, what? How long have you been justifying to your husband other men want you? She fucking uses them for dicks, and then she throws them away. Look what she did to Sebastian, this poor guy. He fucking ended up falling in love with her, and now she's trying to toss him away and going to JC for help and all this shit, like she's a poor victim. Come on, how many fucking people have you victimized?
He's monetized. Does she think she's going to get any money from Sebastian?
Oh, he's the last one. He'll get it from Chrissy first, and then he'll give it to her. Hey, JC, write Sebastian a check so he can fucking go fly it and see Tiffany, will you?
See, this is what they do. And I'm going to include fucking Log Liquor because he does it too. They'll talk to their own clones. Sebastian's famous for it. He comes into a chat. He has 3 handles. I proved that at Wiggins. I had one the time I did have a wrench at Wigan. I timed 2 of his fuckers out, so he couldn't be as fast in the chat. We just and you notice I've been using one account.
Local Muslims and blacks. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? There's no black people in
He does that shit all the time.
There's no black.
There's no Muslims here. He has no concept of what the United States is about. That skinny motherfucker.
The Muslims and blacks.
You fucking pin dick.
The Muslims and blacks.
You've been fucking posting that for 3 years now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Some motherfucker called the cops after he didn't get nowhere with Rent-A-Center.
The only blacks in your town are the ones that get lost on their way to Buffalo. There's no blacks there.
There's not a large population of Antifa or anything like that around here. They get fucking shot around here.
Who is that? That's Acid?
That's
Godfather?
fucking Acid Drip doing that. Yeah.
Well, I remember the name Godfather vaguely. What was the deal with that one?
There's Mad Jim in my chat. Why are you here, Mad Jim?
Yeah, Jim. I'm as black as your mother.
You're one of the ones that fucking troll me, Jim.
I'm as black as that fucking dirty shit black mother of yours. I'm as black as her, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, JC's rule, right? How many people did she fucking zap out of her chat if they brought somebody who wasn't in chat or never been in chat, except when it comes to Billy's mother? So, and then they get all upset. Lady Venom, she's the one that said that about her dad dying, So he had some cocaine, probably had fentanyl in it. Oh, we don't call them felons here. You're such a dumb fucker, Lady Venom. You really are. Wrinkles. Look, I'm 63 years old. Is my forehead wrinkled that bad?
Not as bad as hers. She's half your age, if that.
She's 20 years younger than me anyway. Probably probably 20. I think she said her age there a few times. I think I'm 22 years older than she is.
She's one of those old maids that just, nobody wants her. Nobody wants to touch her.
Calls me a boomer when both her parents are boomers.
She has a gay friend that she hangs with, that whatever that guy's name is, Jordan or whatever the fuck his name is.
Go figure, her and Tiffany are fucking.
And, of course, because they run the same game. They got a guy that, they're not attracted to, and they come on here and I think they both want JT. Honestly, to be honest with you, I think they both want him. They spend all day, every day. Hey Girl too, Monica too. They all spend all day, every day, fucking on this guy's balls.
Well, did you see what Zeb did to Hey Girl?
No.
Hey Girl, she'll say hi to me. She'll unblock me and then block me, depending on what's going on. But she had me unblocked. And I've been cloning Sebastian. He gets madder than a fucker when he gets cloned. You notice that?
I don't.
Well, anyways, he was getting on Hey Girl for talking to me. You're an idiot, Sebastian.
Look at this. Look at this. Yee Skirt said, I'm protesting JC chat until she apologizes to you. Oh, that's good. That's nice. He said you're the Dick Tracy of chats.
I see that.
Yeah, wow. That's an honor.
So it's hard for me. I had to decipher, even though these people, some of them, they post some of these things at me. If it's only about me, I'm like, either this person really is my fan, right? And, I guess I am an easy guy to portray, right?
First thing you did when I came up here, you messed with my fucking microphone?
I only turned it. You were way up there.
That's where I belong, way up, because I'm God. I deserve to be at the full range, the full range of the spectrum.
Now, did you see what I was saying about? Do I give myself away?
No, don't. I'm going to leave. Unless you really want to do it quick.
It's all about cloning, right?
Who'd you clone? Who is it?
You.
When?
Gotti's Angels.
When was this?
In Wiggins chat. He
Today?
His last broadcast. Yeah.
No.
He didn't know. He does now. He does now. Right? You want to see the picture that I use for that?
That's an automatic banning, Anything under my name is an automatic ban.
Let me see. Let me go to it.
He's not happy. He's not happy with me, Billy. He's not happy that God controls the narrative that he wants to portray. The true narrative that he wants to portray is shattered, especially when I'm on his panel. You can't handle it. You can't handle it, Wiggin. You can't fucking handle it. Well, you're going to have to learn to fucking handle it, because God's not going anywhere. You understand? God is not going anywhere.
You probably can't see that very good, so I'll do this number.
Who is it? It better not be two guys.
No, might look like two fat homos, but I think they're women.
I think they're women. Let me see. One of them looks good. I don't know who they are, but one looks okay. Where'd you get this?
I've had it a long time.
One's better than half the broads here. The other one looks like her mom or her dad. Who is it? That's your ex-girl?
Yeah.
Is that your ex-wife?
Some black chicks I know.
Oh yeah, the bonnet. Yeah. The one in the red's okay, but look, what is she, pregnant? She looks a little malnourished.
Now that's funny. That's tasteful.
Oh, your boy Wiggins here to cry about me.
Is he
Wiggins,
here?
come on
Good.
up. I'm leaving, Wiggins. Come on up. It'll be a safe zone for you to cry and bitch. I'm leaving.
He probably wants to talk to you, so.
No, he doesn't want to talk to me. I'm going to leave. Let him cry about me or you.
Let's
Whatever.
see
I'm
if
going
he
to go.
comes up.
I'm going to go have dinner. You guys have fun. Thanks, Billy. I'll see you.
All right. That's funny, isn't it, Wiggin? It's fucking funny.
They recently launched a brand new course called Understanding Capitalism. I watched this. It's fantastic. It's 7 lectures. See, 7 lectures within the single course. You learn about the role of profit and loss, how human nature plays a role in our economic system, why capitalism depends on private property rights, the rule of law, above all else, freedom, and why capitalism
Fucking
is
hilarious.
ultimately a system that encourages morality rather than undermining.
That one handle I had,
So right now to Levin for
maybe I did something in the settings. The picture was bigger down there.
There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's Levin for Hillsdale.com, LEVIN for Hillsdale.com to register for.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows.
LEVIN for Hillsdale.com. Let me ask you a question. We take calls at the bottom of the next hour. Westwood 1 and Blaze.
Better plug this fucker in, huh?
About putting this program on video, at least a couple hours ago. What do you think of that? If we put it on video, would that change the way you listen to the program? And there's nothing wrong with that. Because this is the thing everybody does now. Now, I don't have a problem with it. I always wear my pants. I'm not like some of these other people, on CNN.
You ain't getting my phone number, Sebastian.
But in all seriousness,
Fuck you. You ain't getting my phone number. And there's only a couple of people who have my phone number. You ain't getting it unless they give it. If they want to give it to you, you go ahead. There's no time on my cell phone. You can't contact me on my cell phone. I ain't put any time on it. I got to get a different hookup so I can do what others do. Take my phone with me. All right. Wi-Fi calling or whatever the hell it is. And put my number on my landline on a cell phone. I bought a AT&T prepaid just so I get verification code.
What's it with grapes? I love grapes. But anyway.
I know it. Isn't that weird, Wiggin? I wasn't lying. Guitar Jay put me backstage. He was protecting his gay lover, Sebastian. That's where all the gayness is. Misery loves company. That's true.
That's right. It's actually being applied to a Democrat.
Fuck my lighter go. There it is.
I don't call them congresswomen because who knows how to define that. Now, it's this one congresswoman who's seen on videotape assaulting an ICE official. And so she's now been indicted. Acting U.S. Attorney for District of New Jersey, Alina Habba, I really like her, is charging Representative LaMonica McIver. LaMonica? Okay, LaMonica McIver for her alleged misconduct. Yeah, it was alleged. We all saw it on video. Towards law enforcement in front of Delaney Hall in New Jersey. Earlier this month, but she's dismissing the trespass charge against Newark Mayor Ross Baraka. Representative McIver assaulted, impeded, interfered with the law in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 111A1, Habba said in a letter that she shared on X. And that conduct cannot be overlooked by the chief federal law enforcement official in the state of New Jersey. It's my constitutional obligation to ensure that our federal law enforcement is protected when executing their duties. Hell yeah. So what did McIver have to say? McIver. Remember that TV show, McIver, Mr. Producer?
I can't talk, but I got to let this play.
I joined my colleagues, she said, to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees at Delaney Hall in my district. That really was a pretty good show. We were fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibilities, as members of Congress have done many times before. and our visit should have been peaceful and short. Instead, ICE agents created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation when they chose to arrest Mayor Baraka. So it's now ICE's fault. Yeah, she needs to be prosecuted.
You can't block that, fucker.
It'll be in New Jersey. Charges against me are purely political. That's right. When I slammed that ICE agent, I was just making a statement, a free speech. They mischaracterize and distort my actions. No, we saw them. And are meant to criminalize the term legislative oversight. That's not legislative oversight, moron. This administration will never stop me from yak. Florence Nightingale. Now, Secretary Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security, weighed in on the charges. She said no one is above the law. You know, they mistook this Kristi Noem. She was governor. She was a congressman. Very attractive lady. And, you know, likes nice clothing and so forth. They just figured, all right, she's a pushover. This lady is no damn pushover.
I'm the best moderator out here doing this.
If any person, regardless,
I don't need an administrator. I don't need other wrenches.
Law enforcement officers.
If I did, I only need them for maybe a couple of things. Post some good links, and that's about it.
You'll be prosecuted.
Or you guys, you know, communicate between yourselves, posting links.
Isn't it different now? ICE knows.
If I feel like clicking on a link, I'll click on it. But I don't click on a lot of links.
Cops everywhere.
I gotta trim this fucker. It's getting long.
Fox News has learned McIver must turn herself in as soon as possible, though it's up to the magistrate as the on the specifics of when she must turn herself in and out. This is going to be the problem: the magistrate, the judge. Prosecutors also told Fox News McIver faces several felony charges, so she's looking at possible time behind bars. That could be interesting. Hobb also announced in her letter, after extensive consideration, the charges on Baraka are being dismissed. He was originally charged with a Class C misdemeanor trespassing. I think they should be treated like the January 6ers, don't you, Mr. Producer? They look like an insurrection to me. They look quite violent. They're on government property. The book should be thrown at every damn one of them. Baraka released a statement, barely coherent and literate, so I'm not going to read it to you.
They arrested the congresswoman for assaulting ICE agents at that detention facility.
I was a typical U.S.
fucking
citizen
hilarious.
Tried to storm into a detention facility that's housing dangerous criminals or any person at all, they would be arrested. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News. Kevin Cork on set. I like this Kevin Cork. I like Kevin Cork. I mean, I've seen him on Fox before, but obviously they're giving him a bigger role, and I think he is absolutely up to that task. He's fantastic. Katie Pavlich is another one. Ben Domenech is another one. They have some really, really good people. I'm not trying to leave people out. They're just off the top of my head. Let's see here. Is there any more to this story that we care about? Oh, yes. Hakeem Jeffries is very concerned. This will open the floodgates. No, what does that mean? How stupid do you have to be Hakeem Jeffries? Seriously. I think pretty stupid. But what did they expect?
Yeah, I'm fat. I'm really fat.
Idiots and the mayor idiot. And they're yelling at us and threatening us. So you know what? We're going to let all you criminals, all you felons in particular, we're going to let you loose in the public. We're going to let you loose in Newark. I'd be curious what the people in Newark, New Jersey think about that. I think if I randomly selected people from Newark, New Jersey and questioned them in Newark, I often use their train station there, or to question them, I think they'd say it's nuts to release these people. Nuts, wouldn't anybody? Wouldn't everybody? We'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement?
Excuse me.
Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Knowing that your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years.
Of course, Scotty. Anybody is going to come up is going to bring the numbers.
Talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today. Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
They arrested that congresswoman for assaulting an ICE agent.
Stand ready to defend the American way of life.
Makes a big difference if you're on federal property. Whole different jurisdiction there. Here's the problem if you're on federal property and you commit a crime. They can also refer you to the state wherever that federal property is located in. So you can actually, that's one where you can actually be, face a charge two different ways. Because the states have a right to bring charges against you also. It's a crime against the state.
Keep up to date with the latest in pop culture, music, sports, and news with the Cumulus Podcast Network. You might just become smarter than the internet.
So hopefully you can see that this is not something so scary that you have to do it alone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Imagine
Why? You want a wrench, Randy? I can give you a wrench. Or I can make it a wrench. You won't have control over it, but I can clone you and give you a wrench. No problem. That's my specialty.
This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their life. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more. 75 years of research.
I'm getting birds this spring that have never been to my feeder before, or I haven't seen them. Baltimore Oriole. And they say for them, when you have them, if you put out grape jelly and an orange, they'll go after that also. But whatever's in the bird seed that I buy, they've been feeding on it. And then Baltimore Orioles stand out when you see them, especially the female. Right. It's like seeing a parrot with a, I don't know what kind of head you would call it. Shape of their beak.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay.
Black, orange, white. Oh, the male stands right out big time. The female is like an off orange, I could see it. My problem with color is red and green. Red against a green background, it's hard for me to see. Unless it's moving. If it's moving, then I'll see it. That's why they wouldn't let me be an electrician in the Navy. I wanted to be an electrician because I know how to do that work. I also know how to do plumbing. They wouldn't let me be a mechanic either. So when they offered me a contract, I took to be a cook. I was contracted to be a cook in the Navy, and that's what I did. Didn't say potato peeler. Mess management specialist.
You pre-order the book on Power. They're now giving 11% off.
He's advertising his book. He's got a new book out for those people that like to read books.
45 or 50, whatever it is. But you want to get in on it as fast as you can.
Why are you retracting your messages, Randall?
July 29th, but you can also give it as a Father's Day gift. That is, let your father, your grandfather, your husband, let them know that they will be receiving.
Oh, what's the matter, Randall? Are you mad? Randall, you mad?
When they come out, to have it show up on their doorstep. So I want to encourage you. Those who are thinking about it, you're going to love this book. As we get into it, we'll get into it on Fox, and all the platforms. When you go to, I'm not allowed to announce it yet, but some of our usual book signings.
There's only one thing Guitar J taught me. He's a chicken shit. You're a chicken shit motherfucker, boy.
As we gear up for the next cycle, too.
Hiding underneath the woman's skirt out here.
It kind of provides a basis for understanding so many of the things that go on. And by the way, in your own lives, too. We're living in dangerous times. Crime is high. Justice system is failing many people, particularly with the Soros prosecutors and the left wing.
At least Darren Whitney didn't do that to me.
The radicals on the left, they want to regulate the right to be armed under the
Second
Amendment by law. By
Darren never blocked me or anything.
But you can trust Berna
Darren wouldn't have done that.
Burner, and their compact
He would have
launcher
sat there and
to
laughed along with fucking me saying shit to Sebastian, but you can't take it. Where'd you go, Sebastian?
Smartphone, give or take. But don't let the size fool you. It actually fires 61 caliber kinetic and chemical rounds. We're available at up to 400 feet per second with 41 joules of stopping power per square inch. Now, what does all that mean? That means it stops the person you're shooting at without doing them bodily damage. It can stop threats cold without using deadly force. It's legal in all 50 states, even California. No permits, no background checks. And here's the best
Hey, Sinman, I could show you an evaluation where the captain of the ship said it's the best baked good since he's been in command. USS Kashmir Pulaski. Charles M. Wood III was the commanding officer on that ship. And he took me under his wing. And yeah, I was a night baker. I stood mostly night baker. Had to do mid-ratch meal and breakfast, so I'm a breakfast cook. One of the hardest meals to prepare, actually. You're going to have a variety on a breakfast meal. You better learn how to cook potatoes.
Congress, 1.4 million, 1.4 million illegal aliens who've already gone through the due process and have been ordered deported are roaming free in the United States. Due process. Well, they got due process, and they're roaming freely in the United States.
Levin cracks me up.
In the United States.
You got to listen to him.
When do we get due process?
I listened to all Rush Limbaugh whenever I could, including at work.
Scott Domchowski, who served as the Immigration and Naturalization Service and Immigration and Customs Enforcement for more than 20 years, now on the board of the National Immigration Center for Enforcement, NICE. This is what he's telling lawmakers. ICE detention centers and enforcement and removal operations are not optional. They're essential to the rule of law. He says without them, our immigration system collapses into chaos. And he said detention is not punitive, it is a lawful tool to ensure compliance with immigration proceedings and final removal orders. Yet 1.4 million of those ordered removed still are roaming free, a population that drives the need for more bed space. Over 60% of ICE's detained population is held under mandatory detention laws. That is, they have criminal records, their flight risks, or national security concerns. And there's not enough room for them.
My neighbor across the street is home.
I told you, Cloward and Pivot, they've overwhelmed the system. They've overwhelmed the detention facilities. They've overwhelmed the administrative immigration law judges. They've overrun our federal courts, and they did it on purpose. That way, the vast majority of people who came illegally will become, if not citizens outright, effectively citizens, and their children, as long as birthright citizenship continues, and I fear it may, under this court, their children will become citizens, and then those children will be involved in chain migration, and that's the end of it. He said, let's be clear, detention safeguards due process. It guarantees the alien appears in court and the rights are respected. They can access attorneys and families, and that removal orders, once lawful and final, can be carried out safely and responsibly. Yeah, but they're running from the law, so they're not going to do any of this stuff.
He admits about his voice. He doesn't have the best voice, but at least he doesn't talk like Brian Stelter or Steltler. All those fucking idiots over at CNN. Jake Tapper, what a fucking moron.
And they're roaming around, and you're not going to
CNN sucks. Just look at JC's chat. That's where they all are.
Dig more heavily into this issue of this bill. In this, what's become.
They'd rather believe Wolf Blitzer. Who names their son Wolf?
Deductions for interest. That means my state will get screwed. How so? Because we don't have an income tax. So why do you care if there's bigger deductions? Well, because then we have to come up with a difference in our budget. Excuse me, it's our money. It's our money. But still, then we have some of these members who say, either I get my way or I'm voting no. Now, if they vote no, and if they can't get a bill through, you know what happens, Mr. and Mrs. America? The average person out there, your taxes are going to go up 68%. 68%. And the economy will flatline because we need these tax cuts. Reagan got them because they needed them. And as I said the other day, what's interesting about this, when the Reagan tax cuts went through, the issue wasn't whether Republicans would vote against it. Almost every Republican voted for it. The issue was whether he could get some Democrats in the House. He had won the Senate. He didn't have the House. And he needed blue dog Democrats, led by a man you may have heard of before. And he got them. And so we got the tax cuts passed. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Greatly appreciated.
Making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
No weakness here. Getting ready to do this podcast. Texture Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse. If you're here for Jay Moore, you found the right place. Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out.
I imagine he's still on the radio. I tried to get him a couple of times. He comes on. It's Joe Pags on the weekend. His last name is spelled, but Pags is short for he's Italian. It's an Italian name. It's not Pagsley Oakley. It's something that I forget now. I haven't heard him in a long time. I used to, he come on the FM station out of Ogdensburg. So if I had an AM FM radio, I could listen to Mike Sa. I mean, I could do it here if I wanted to. I mostly listen to Chris Plant and Mark Levin. The other guys that are on the radio, if they fill in, if I'm sitting here not doing anything, that noon to 3 spot there's a lot of news in between there, but I haven't been broadcasting too much during that period of time. Certain days of the week, I go do things. Like today, I went to Malone this morning. Leave at 8 o'clock and get back about 1 o'clock, 1:32 at the latest, usually. So I was into the Adirondacks. Malone is Titus Mountain. That's where Peekaboo Street come out of for the Olympics. I forget what year. Was it back in the 90s? Peekaboo Street. Big time skier. A woman. I doubt Hillary Clinton will visit Fort Drum again.
But Massachusetts Democrat Ayanna Pressley says the bill is targeting programs essential for low-income families.
Donald Trump is stealing from the poor, the elderly, the vulnerable, and everyday working families.
Here's your Congresswoman, DA.
This is a great Republican ripoff.
There's still no
great Republican ripoff.
Which nonpartisan research groups say would add more than $2.5 trillion to the national debt. The president made the comment about Medicaid after announcing a new missile defense plan, the Golden Dome, using technology similar to Israel's Iron Dome. He said it's expected to be built over 3 years with a cost of $176 billion. The Louisiana's Attorney General says an investigation continues into the escape from an Orleans Parish jail.
Louisiana AG Liz Morrill said the arrest of jail maintenance worker Sterling Williams is a significant step, and the charge he faces reflects that.
Maliciously assisted in an escape means you intended to assist 10 individuals to escape from a penal institution.
As for those still on the run, Morrill says they could be
I have cheesecake.
Louisiana right now. As they are sought, she warns any accomplices on the outside.
If you are assisting,
See, there's this place in Malone, and they get stuff from they take in donations, and they give them donations out to certain places. And so the pastor I deal with has a food pantry. So I ride out to Malone with him, pick up whatever they might give him. Bread, donuts, whatever, things that come off the shelf that are close to the date that doesn't get sold. Charity. Yeah, doing the Lord's work. So when you do that, right, you're handling everything. So if I see something I like, I probably get to keep it. Today I took a cheesecake, and I took a sweet potato pie. I already had a piece of the sweet potato pie. I got sweet potato pie. Time is it? This fucker charging? Better be. Zeb, where'd you go, Zeb?
NBC Montana, her family never received any consideration.
They never concerned themselves with, maybe there might be people out there who may be
itch.
his descendants.
Oh, I got a back scratcher. That's right.
The family of the artist, Blackie Wetzel, says the shoot is baseless, but Gopher warns.
We're not going quietly.
John Matthews on WMAL.
More water.
WMAL News time is 8:04. I'm Sharon Reardon, and now here's your WMAL traffic and weather from the
There he is.
Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Patrick, what are you doing here? You missed all the action earlier. Oh, maybe you didn't. Ebbs and flows. You got to be, that's like any business. You got to be open. You got to be ready. You never know.
The outer loop of the Beltway in Alexandria, that's jammed between Van Dorn Street and the Wilson Bridge. And 95 southbound in Newington, stop and go between the Fairfax County Parkway and 123. That's your traffic up to the minute.
Tonight, rain likely, lows in mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow.
Wow, you follow my every word. You just took my words. That now you're telling me to justify whatever. See, Patrick, this is why all you do is sit in a recliner, drink beer, and fucking brag. You don't really do anything. You don't have anything.
While they battle a life-threatening illness, they need something good to look forward to. For just $29 a month, your commitment to Make-A-Wish North Texas helps bring life-changing.
There's something I want to say to Patrick, but I don't want to give away anybody's secrets. So I keep my mouth shut.
If you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to
Patrick,
the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband.
You're a lightweight, you fat fuck.
Inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now
Cinnamon.
barefoot.
What?
You guys have to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores.
Yeah, I got a booger hanging or something. Is there snot running down my nose?
So you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do,
Excuse me.
You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Now broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden fucking steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
How you doing? Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811. Is NPR still around? National Cubic Network? I hope not. I have another question on this Biden stuff. I'm watching and thinking about this during the break. It never stops. The brain just keeps going. We've condemned those, rightly so, who are involved directly in the cover-up: family, friends, staff, Democrats, the media. I repeat myself. But what about the millions of people who voted for Joe Biden? Not just the first time around the general election, but in the primaries leading up to his nomination. Well, Mark, they didn't have an alternative. Of course they did. They could write somebody in most states or just not vote. And they did have an alternative. This guy, Dean Phillips, was trying to run, and of course they crushed him. But what about the millions of people? I think there were 50,
Patrick, Charlie's going to come in here and cream your ass. And if you have him blocked, I'm going to give him a wrench. I'll solve your problem.
You know how the Democrats like to...
I'll solve your problem tonight, Patrick Rowe. I'll give Charlie a wrench. That way you can't block him. Or you can. He's still going to be able to see you. And you'll cry like the baby if you get timed out once for like 10 seconds.
You had 15 or 16 million then. Who slavishly, as my friend Jesse Waters used the word, I prefer slavishly, who slavishly voted for Joe Biden. And then you have all this new media on the Democrat side, like Mediocreite. And of course, the Sludge Report, that used to be the Drudge Report, they were all in for Biden. All in for Biden. But the millions and millions of people who voted for Biden, what's their excuse? Well, they didn't know? No, we all knew.
You want to see what was in my food box today? I'll show it to you.
Really? No, it's a realistic matter.
You want to see what was in my food box today?
I've always used that as an example. The Democrats would vote for a company. They don't care as long as they have power. They didn't care he was there. And Donald Trump is on to something big here. They knew he didn't have it. The auto pen was moving around. Things were getting done that the old Joe Biden would never have it support, even though he was a liberal. He believed in secure borders and something and things of that sort. But you wouldn't know it based on what was taking place. You wouldn't know it. But there must be thorough investigations of this. History demands it. We demand it. Who was running the place? We want to know who they are. The instances the auto pen was used, who authorized that? And was it used in ways that affected us? On executive orders, on regulations, on laws, and God knows what else? I'll bet you Dr. Joe had a role in all this stuff. I mean, how would she know? How would she know? You could see she was on top of him, controlling him, finishing sentences for him, walking for him, all this other stuff. Who? So she had a role. There's no question about it. I think they had 2 or 3 chiefs of staff. They had a role. They had a role. But can you imagine being in one of the few cabinet meetings he had, and you're sitting there and you know damn well what's going on? They swore to uphold the Constitution, every one of those cabinet members, and they didn't. They didn't. The vice president didn't. She's not qualified to be governor, president, vice president. She's not qualified to hold any public office, is Kamala Harris, because she was one of the generals in the cover-up for the American people. Why? Because she was vice president. She had a responsibility under our Constitution. That's why. And none of these people were in the... Buttigieg wants to be president. President of what? The United States? Even before all this, he wasn't qualified. I don't mean constitutionally. I mean experientially. But that aside... he was part of the cover-up, too. Any Democrat that went on TV that said, this guy's as sharp as hell, should be dismissed as a candidate. This guy, Cory Booker, 25 hours crying over, well, we don't know what he was crying over. Hard to know. He was using what the Democrats called a racist, segregationist method, the filibuster.
No.
In his case, a quasi-filibuster, to say nobody knows what the hell he was saying. But he knew. They all knew. So that should be the first test for any Democrat who wants to be president in 2028. What did they know and when did they know it? Now, they're going to lie, but we have the clips. We have the information. How many times did they meet with Biden? It's like the cover-up of this cancer. Of course we wish him well. Of course it's a horrible thing. And of course the timing is preposterous. So this was an entire cover-up operation. Let me put it in a way that some folks will understand here. This was the worst kind of election interference in American history. Cover-up of Biden and the attempt to destroy Donald Trump through our legal processes. This was a disgusting effort to manipulate the election so the Democrats would stay in power, so they would be able to further empower themselves. This is why they try and add seats to the Supreme Court, to turn it into some kind of a political Politburo owing to them. This is why they try and change the election laws. This is why they oppose voter ID for voting or voter ID for even registering in federal elections. Crazy. But this is who they are. So, Republicans and others, say what you will about most of them, most of you, you're honorable. You're not looking to destroy the society. You're not looking to fundamentally transform the society. You want representative government to work. It's not about destroying the society, changing the society, re-engineering the people, re-engineering this or that. It's about representative government, the consent of the governed. And the bigger and the more centralized government gets, the more difficult that becomes. So we're dealing with two utterly, completely different viewpoints, their ideology and our philosophy. And so they'll lie. And they'll cheat. And they'll deceive. And they'll rewrite history. But I get back to the point I made when I came back on the air this hour, which is they had 15, 16 million people who voted for Biden in the primaries. You had this guy, again, Dean Phillips, who was trying to nudge his way in. The Democrat Party wouldn't allow it. And so we need to remind the people again and again and again, the Democrat Party, the media, they colluded to interfere with the election, both in terms of trying to destroy Donald Trump and in terms of covering up for Joe Biden. There are other things they covered up with Joe Biden, quite frankly, including the fact that there were issues with other women. And I don't mean necessarily consensual. And that was blown off too. Again, I'm not trying to stir the pot, but there was that. When we come back, we have Chairman Comer, who is scheduled to be here. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Let's see, something different for dinner. I'm searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection cleared. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good.
Hey, you pale whores, don't dare come up here.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
I don't know, Gotti. You should have waited to see if
StopTextStopWrecks.org.
my nemesis Wiggin there is going to come up on panel. No, I'm not cutting that one hair.
Because let's face it, money's too important to win.
What you'll hear is a couple money geeks sitting and talking about this stuff that we're so passionate about.
You name it, anything that's on your mind. Retirement debt, student loans, saving for college.
It's a personal finance journey. It is a wide-ranging squirrel conversation about the topic of personal finance and good financial planning.
You do realize, Patrick Rowe, you're giving me a cyberspace blowjob right now, right? I'm rubbing my pecker to your fucking post. Not really.
Because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know
about
it.
News Talk 105.9.
You ain't shit, Patrick, but a stupid old drunk. All you are is a stupid old drunk. That's all you are. I have to justify anything to you.
And the time period never more filled with potential, but also
Go to JC's and hang out. I don't even know if she's live. I don't even care. All right? You and your fucking stupid fucking mumbling. That's all you do is mumble. And you block me in Vegas chat. And you trying to, you and your lover boy there, Andy 504, what are you fucking trying to do, huh? Make love to each other? Oh, you already did. You just want to be the topic of conversation, Patrick, and there's nothing about you nobody wants to talk about. Nobody talks to you except Andy 504, Acid Drip. I'm not buying anything. Wiggy doesn't run this channel. I'm not his soldier, obviously. He says that just to get your fucking dumb ass going. No, Charlie is his chief lieutenant, not me. But I am his sort of like his godfather.
Know the news the minute you wake up. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor, 5 to 9 a.m. on WMAL.
I'm in my own house and he's telling me to go somewhere. No, I'm here. You go do whatever. Boy, you're mad, aren't you? Why are you so mad, Patrick? They must be having fucking technical difficulties at WMAL. Fuckers. You have no standing, Patrick. None whatsoever. Nobody's seeing your comments. I keep erasing them. I'm the only one seeing your comment. Nobody else can see it. Unless they were up on my panel. Then they could see it. Did you have something to say, Patrick? It's important or what? I don't know. There might be a few others that already have that claim. You better get in line, boy. You do know, Patrick. I hope.
With some cockamamie privilege that nobody ever heard of before. And he withheld it. He covered it up right through the election, and then he leaves.
They cut half that off.
While he was orchestrating the Biden side, was orchestrating the Trump side. So simultaneously, excuse me, he was working overtime to take out Donald Trump. This guy who comes across like a fatherly figure, careful about what he says, kind of bumble, former judge. Mr. Chairman, this man was diabolical, absolutely diabolical. What do you think?
No, I agree completely, and it's just it's refreshing that the truth is finally coming out. I'm shocked that the legacy media is finally admitting that they failed and that there was a cover up. But I question their side of the story, that they didn't know all along. And look, at the end of the day, everyone knows that Joe Biden wasn't making the decisions. You've got the Attorney General, who's supposed to be a check and balance in this whole equation, and he was not only failed at his duty as someone that was.
Oh, thank God for the longer days. Wow.
He was complicit, and I think that it's just it's terrible, and I would encourage
they're having technical difficulties.
Judiciary Committee, I would think, has some oversight here. It's the Department of Justice, after all.
Wow.
That they should bring him in too and question him about his various roles and so forth. And hopefully the Attorney General and others currently have access to materials if they weren't destroyed. It's the other thing, Mr. Chairman, that I'm scratching my head over. Am I to believe that the Presidential Records Act was not violated by any of these people trying to cover their asses on the way out the door? I can't imagine that. Can you?
No. And we know that some of these staffers that we're going to bring in are going to try to claim executive privilege and all sorts of things to try to prevent them from having.
By the way, aren't they going to have a problem? Aren't they going to have a problem with that, given what they did to Bannon?
Think so.
Yeah.
We think so. And again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. We're going to try to make sure every I is dotted and T's crossed when we bring them in. But we have asked them to come in, and if they refuse, then the next step will be the subpoena. And at that point, we'll have demonstrated every good faith effort to get them to come in voluntarily.
Do you know? I don't know. This auto pen. Does anybody just access to it? Is it under lock and key? Is it in a special room? I mean, how does this thing work?
I don't know how theirs works. I know mine's right out wide open in the office, and we have a couple of low level staffers that use it. And what we use the auto pen for in my office is to sign proclamations and just little things like that. But when I have to subpoena someone or do something like that, I have to sign it. I mean, because my lawyers have always said if we don't sign it, then they could get it kicked out of court. And to think that Joe Biden's administration was using the auto pen to sign pardons and executive orders and appropriations of $4 trillions of dollars, and it's just the list goes on. And I mean, it just begs to question if we can prove that Joe Biden didn't have any knowledge or wasn't capable of making the decision to allow someone to use the auto pen, then can these executive orders that were issued at the end of his administration to Trump-proof the federal government, can they be voided? Because these executive orders, especially the ones with the Federal Employees Union, is making it very difficult for Trump to eliminate the U.S. Department of Education and to trim the size of the federal government because they signed new contracts and collective bargaining agreements with the Federal Employees Union, and it's hurting Trump in court as he tries to drain the swamp.
And Mr. Chairman, don't you think the White House counsel, the White House chief of staff, some of these people should be dragged before maybe your committee or whatever committee it is? I mean, they are the chief, staffers, like they're on your staff or they were on my staff when I was chief of staff to the Attorney General. They were in the know.
Right. And I think they will. The great thing that's happened with this Jake Tapper book and all this other stuff is that momentum's on our side. When we requested, for example, the White House doctor answer some questions about the last time he issued a perfect bill of health for Joe Biden. They never did respond to our information. We requested information about who was making various decisions in the White House when it was obvious to everyone that Joe Biden was becoming essentially a mental invalid. They never did reply. So when we would talk about this over at the beginning of the Trump administration, the media would be like, why are you bringing up Biden stuff? It's all over. Well, now there's momentum. Now people are offended. People are outraged. They're reading this Tapper book where I was the one that said, I actually think Hunter Biden is running the show. And people laughed when I said that. Well, Tapper said that in an interview today, that Hunter Biden was essentially the de facto chief of staff the last 3 months of the administration. That is word for word what I said, the de facto chief of staff.
When we come back, I'd like to hold you just a little bit, if I may.
Okay.
This whole thing with the media now wringing their hands, is this not the most grotesque rewriting of history you've ever seen? We'll be right back with Chairman Comer.
Hi, I'm Erica, an English major at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Dr. Larry Arnn with a Constitution Minute.
The human soul is made to learn, and the highest things of life are the best things to learn. One of these, it turns out, is the way we govern ourselves, and one of the best examples of that is the Constitution of the United States. It explains what our government should look like and how it should function to best protect our rights. It was created to give us the freedom to make choices about the way we wish to live. Unfortunately, most colleges and universities today fail to teach our Constitution. When they do, they often denigrate it. This is dangerous because it is impossible to preserve our liberty if we don't understand where it comes from and how to protect it. Having a proper civics education is essential to preserving our freedom.
To learn more and get a free pocket Constitution, visit constitutionminute.com.
This Constitution Minute was furnished by Hillsdale College.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook, because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources, but when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
No Contest Wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson with the biggest names in the game.
Ricky Sace is in the house, everybody. NXT North American Champion, baby. How you feeling right now, man?
I feel great.
Jay Uso. What's going on, man?
A lot of heavy days, but it's okay, man. It's part of the game.
They know who they are, bro. And you know who I am. TJ, can you tell them where to find us? I mean, why else are we here? You can always find us No Contest Wrestling. Check us out.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Green light.
I'm posting in Vegas.
I'm getting hungry. Changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
Talk 105.9 WMAL.
2 for Tuesday.
WMAL. More than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
But then, the thunder.
I gotta listen.
Call in now. 877-381-3811.
We're here with Representative Chairman Comer. Chairman Comer, I mean, this really doesn't have anything to do with your duties, but just as an American citizen, you watch this Jake Tapper. I'm told now his book is number 1 nonfiction book on Amazon. I mean, this guy's part of the cover-up. He's part of the deceit of the American people. And then he writes a book with another schlub, basically slapping the wrist of those who covered it. Are we living in the Twilight Zone? I mean, how do you get away with something like this?
I have no idea. I'm not going to spend a penny of my money on the book, but you know, at the end of the day, the free promotion that he's gotten out of this, and among all the liberal media, when it's a, you know, I mean, it's a slap in their face. I mean, no one, you know, the question is, did they really believe that Joe Biden was competent? and they were fooled, or were they complicit in it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I learned during the Biden investigation, the media was financially illiterate, and every story they wrote was copy and pasted from someone that sent it to them. Mm-hmm. And it's just there is no journalism in a lot of America left. There's conservative journalists, but there are no journalists left at these legacy media outlets.
Well, I've had you have you here this Trump bill, as it's called. There's always a couple, isn't there? And not just conservatives, but some of the Republicans from the Northeast too. They're going to hold up the whole damn bill and all that's in it because they feel they're not getting this or that. I mean, I don't think Reagan could have gotten his tax cuts through this House of Representatives.
No, and Trump said it best when he said he called out one of the New Yorkers. I'm not going to name which name, but you probably know which one. And he's always complaining, always wanting more, and always saying, "Oh, he's going to get beat." And Trump told him today, he said, if you get beat, it's not because of salt. You were going to get beat anyway. And I agree with that completely. If you're so weak that you can't take one vote that might not have overwhelming approval in your district, then you really, you've got bigger problems in politics. No one's going to get what they want, but you're exactly right. It's usually the same 10 or 15 people. We have 220 Republicans in the House. There's not a single one of us that like 100% of that bill. But the way the system was designed was 435 members. It takes 218 votes to pass a bill in the House of Representatives. You've got to work together and negotiate and compromise. And this bill's been done right. This, what Trump refers to as the big, beautiful bill or the budget reconciliation bill, this has gone through regular order. In 8 years I've been in Congress, this is the first bill that had multiple committees of jurisdiction. Mine was one, the Oversight Committee. We had jurisdiction over the federal employee benefits, and we passed our portion out of committee. We marked it up, as it's called. The 10 other committees did the same thing. We've debated. We've had countless workshops on this bill. We've had countless meetings, public meetings, private meetings. We've debated it. We've negotiated it. I mean, this is how the process is supposed to work. And so many times, Congress is broken and it doesn't do it the right way. And now these guys are saying, well, we need more time. I mean, we've done it the right way. It's been 4.5 months. It's time for the House to vote on it and send it to the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent it gets quote unquote better, it's going to be de minimis to most of the American people. And the thing is this. I favor bigger tax deductions for interest and so forth. So you take another bite at it next time. I mean, you can't get it all done in one thing like this. And there's a lot in this bill that's good, right?
It's 95% of this bill is outstanding. And with Medicaid, we're not cutting poor people on Medicaid. We're trying to tighten the eligibility requirements because we believe there are a lot of illegals that are currently on the Medicaid rolls. And that's free health care. People get Medicaid and Medicare confused. Medicare people pay into, and they're entitled to receive it. Medicaid is free health care. And it's a good program it's supposed to be for poor children, poor pregnant women, poor elderly, disabled people. That's what it's supposed to be for. But what's happened is states have expanded it. These blue states especially have allowed these illegals to get on it. And then in states like Kentucky that expanded Medicaid, you've got people that are very healthy and men that are very able-bodied that couldn't work if they wanted to because they would lose their free health care. If they got a job at McDonald's, they would lose their free health care. So we've got to change it and protect it for the people that need it. And that's what Trump said today, and that's what we're doing.
This workfare aspect of it used to be in place. It was Obama who lifted that. I remember when Reagan fought for that and Gingrich put it in place. They remove it. So now you guys want to put it back in place to protect the people who deserve it, as you just said, the people who really need it. And we've got Republicans, number one, some who are afraid to run against that. And number two, the Democrats who lie about everything and anything, they're saying, oh, you're cutting Medicaid.
You basically need 20 seconds to explain. I think able-bodied men should have to work 20 hours a day before they get Medicaid. I don't think illegal aliens should get Medicaid.
Sweet potato.
Protected for the true poor American citizens who need it. How hard is it to say that?
I know. The only thing that's being cut on Medicaid is waste, fraud, and abuse. That's it. And I think the American people support that. It's going to be protected for the people that need it. And look, President Trump's been very clear on that. He didn't want to cut Medicaid. Now, we've got Republicans that want to cut it, and they make good arguments. But at the end of the day, this is what the president wants. The president campaigned. He said he wasn't going to touch Social Security. He said he wasn't going to touch Medicare and Medicaid. He was going to cut out wasteful spending, waste, fraud, and abuse. He's doing exactly what he campaigned on. This is the will of the American people. The president has a mandate. We've debated it. We've discussed it. People have given and taken on the bill. And at the end of the day, it's time to pass it. And surely to goodness, over the next 3 days, we'll pass it out of the House.
And here's the thing. And you see this in life all the time. You guys have put together a budget. Nobody even thought you could put this together. Mm-hmm. It's got so many good things on tips and overtime and people on Social Security and how you're going to reduce their taxes. You got a lot more money securing the border and the Golden Dome, and I can go on and on and on. And you do that, and they go, "Wow, look at this! Well, I want more. Mm-hmm. I want more." You're not going to get more. Get the damn thing passed, and you can play around with it next year.
You know, what I would like to tell these members, and there are a few senators like that, file a bill. See how many votes you can get.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't get 15 or 20 votes. Okay, this is the only vehicle that can get 218 votes. It's either pass this bill or continue to govern, continue to live by the rules that Nancy Pelosi and whoever was controlling the White House under Joe Biden created. That's the option there.
By the way, I'll let you go, but those Democrats that basically stormed that ICE detention facility, it was sort of a mini January 6th, I would say. You know, I think they ought to throw the book at him. That looked like an insurrection to me. We ought to circle that one on our calendar too, Congressman. Just saying. Well, anyway,
it looked like an insurrection to me too.
You're a good guy, and we appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care of yourself. He's a good guy. All right, let me find it. Since I don't want to bother the American people with my printer. It's not a matter of buying a new printer. People, what the hell, can't you? It's a matter of the damn thing working with my laptop, right, Mr. Producer? It's not a matter of cost. It's just crazy. All right, we're in a good mood today. Let's take a moment to talk about where we are because, let's be honest, conservatives are winning. And that's what Blaze
deplorable. I'm the only one with a wrench. You see a wrench? It's me.
On my Blaze show,
I'm the only one.
I take a number of issues and I try to apply them to
in case you didn't know.
Or history and so forth. It's a very
Spitting.
different show. And for instance,
Sweet
our
potato
show
pie.
That hasn't run yet. I do exactly that. And you'll see our show next week. We do 2 shows. And the week after that, and the week after that. I think what I'm going to start to do is talk about what I'm going to do in that show, even though I haven't done it yet. My thinking process and so forth and so on. And I think it's something that will intrigue you because every platform I have, I do differently. It's not because I want to do it differently. They're just different platforms. So radio is one thing. Fox is another. Blaze is the third. And I was with Blaze before I was with Fox. So when you subscribe, you're not just watching. You're standing with a movement. You're standing with not just me. You've got a whole bunch of other great hosts on Blaze. They're just fantastic. Different kinds of backgrounds, different kinds of approaches, different kinds of substance, but we're all in love with our country, and we all love our subscribers. You're supporting independent journalism, independent opinion making, no massive multi-conglomerate corporation or anything like that. You'll see powerful documentaries. We have investigators who are doing hard news. It's just a fantastic platform, and the price is de minimis. It is de minimis for everything that's made available to you. And this is the future. It truly is. So watch Blaze TV on your terms, anytime, any place, any device. Check it out. You've heard me talk about it for many years. It starts at just $8 a month. $8 a month. 30 days a month, 24/7. You can go to sleep by it. You can wake up to it. And it's not only that, it's going to give you some peace of mind. What goes on today stresses you out. It's going to give you some peace of mind. You're going to laugh a little bit. Go to levintv.com/Levin. That's LEVIN TV.com/LEVIN and use code Levin. So that's 3 Levins. LevinTV.com/Levin. Use code Levin. Every case it's spelled like LEVIN. You'll save $20 on your annual subscription. Try an annual subscription. You got Father's Day coming up. The 2 best gifts you can give to your father or your husband or your grandfather on Father's Day is a Blaze subscription and notifying you pre-order Mark Levin's what's going to be a great new book on power. And you'll see how this book takes off over time as I explain it in detail. You need to get in line early on, get that special discount. Same with Blaze, $20 off your annual subscription. So that's levintv.com/Levin, promo code Levin. LEVINTV.com/LEVIN, promo code LEVIN. For Blaze TV, all that we have to offer you from all of our fantastic hosts and platforms. Unfiltered, unafraid, on demand. Join us today. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
Sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.niched.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Making sense of your money, the state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon.
The kind of thing I pay attention to, I'm looking at.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Making sense of your world on the go. Screen your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Join us at mda75.org.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Sorry, professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal Race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
Investors and 1031 exchangers. Market volatility is off the charts. Are you ready for steady tax-sheltered monthly income with high potential upside, all tax-sheltered through 1031 exchanges? Then you should consider the Icon America High Yield DSTs with cash flow starting at 7.5%. Icon targets the much undersupplied lower income housing and student housing. Icon America DSTs are diversified across multiple states in Utah, Florida, Ohio, Maryland, Georgia, New York, and more. In place, cash flow is 7.5%, with 10-year interest-only loans at 4.25%. Adding washers and dryers and other value can drive rental growth. Call 800-580-1031. Since 2007, Icon has paid out over $75 million in distributions to investors. Visit icon1031.com or call 800-580-1031. 800-580-1031.
Investments involve risk. Results vary. Consult with your financial and tax professionals.
Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news. WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Folks, Pure Talk, my wireless company, is a veteran-led company, believes every man and woman who has faithfully served this country deserves to proudly fly an American flag. I love this when two sponsors get together. That flag made in America. And that's why Pure Talk is on a mission to give an allegiance flag made right here in America, the highest quality American flag, period, to 1,000 U.S. veterans in time for the patriotic holidays, Memorial Day and beyond. Switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk today. Know that you're supporting a company that will be providing these high-quality flags to deserving veterans. This is exciting. I've never seen this before, two sponsors getting together like this. With plans from just $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data, you can enjoy America's most dependable 5G network while cutting your cell phone bill, in many cases, in half. Pure Talk, baby, that should be your company. That should be your cell phone company. It's mine. Their service is unmatched. Their prices are often half of what the big guys are. It's a patriotic company started by a veteran right here in the United States. Patriotic employees. Their customer service is in America. It's not in India or the Philippines. It is a great homemade American company. Just dial pound 250. Say the keyword Mark Levin. Pound 250, keyword Mark Levin. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will get you switched hassle-free in less than 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250. Say Mark Levin. Switch to a wireless company that supports you, our country, our veterans. Switch to Pure Talk, folks. You've heard me talk about it a long time. They are the best. Let's go to Leon, New York City. How are you, Leon? What's up, brother?
I'm fine. And what I admire about you most, Mark, is that you tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. You're the only one that's talking about Qatar. You're the only one that's telling the truth about Qatar. I mean, Qatar, their subversion on American youth in the universities. They put in millions of dollars to subvert our youth, to make them crazy. And look what's happening. And the same thing, they're the ones that, tipped off with Sheikh Mohammed. They support Hamas. They support Hezbollah. And, all of a sudden, we used to align our with countries that had values. Now we're aligning ourselves with countries that have money. And Qatar is the worst. They're the Trojan horse. And you're the only one who's telling the truth about it.
Leon, Qatar just had this big economic summit. And it was put on partnership with Bloomberg Media. Bloomberg's multi-billion-dollar media operation. He's also in communist China. Does the man not have enough money? He's got to be working with these sleazeball terrorist reprobates. On top of that, you had major businesses, representatives of businesses. You had Petraeus. You had other former military there, other governmental officials there. They're in Qatar. They act like this is some Western country or some advanced country. They're still spending money on terrorism. They're still helping fund students for justice in Palestine. They're still funding the destruction of our Ivy League schools, and now they're going into K through 12. They're still buying politicians. They're still buying lawyers and law firms. They gave safe haven to the Taliban, to Hamas. They funded October 7th. Today they announced they're mediators. How is Qatar a mediator? And Qatar announced today, well, there'd be a deal, but Israel won't stop fighting. Israel, it's Hamas that did what they did, and Qatar funded it. They're in alliance with Iran. Iran is breaking, to some extent, the oil boycott through Qatar. Qatar is setting up third parties, freighters that fly false flags to help them get their oil to communist China. Listen, I'm not just telling you people this in America. I've told the president this. I've told people on Fox. On my Fox platform, I'm telling people now. So I don't want to hear when we get another attack, why didn't anybody say anything? I'm saying it now. All right, Leon, thank you. I didn't mean to yell, but I'm so friggin' frustrated about this. I understand we have enemies or former enemies and we have to deal with them. This enemy is an enemy within the United States right now. And how come nobody's asking the 9/11 families what they think about any of this? Isn't that funny? Where are all the reporters? Where's Mediaite? Where's the Drudge Report? Where's everybody? Why don't they track down? They're all over the place. They're patriotic Americans, the 9/11 family. Why don't they ask them what they think? I want to salute all you heroes out there. Folks, grab your copy of On Power tonight. Go to Amazon.com. Get the discount. Father's Day is upon us.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with. I was thinking about rolling a joint. This fucker big enough to smoke? I'll open my panel. Nobody wants to come up, then I'm going to sign off and be back later. I haven't really had dinner, and I just ate another piece of sweet potato pie. It's about all I've had in the last 3 hours for dinner. So there you have the truth. JC won't admit it. All right. I got blamed for timing the whole chat out. She made up stories about when I had a wrench in her chat for one day. I didn't time anybody out. I would have been able to keep the wrench because these fuckers block and then they talk their crap. Bunch of chicken shit motherfuckers. JC wants to keep it that way. I knew it was in vain going. I thought about it before. I'm regretting now even going up on her panel. I should have just fucking kept on going. But I did it to prove a point. See Wiggin up there. I didn't go up there because Wiggin was up there. Surprised to see him. Yeah. Then come back later and get put backstage because Guitar J is on a power trip. Thinks he's got fun. Ooh, he's an administrator at JC's chat. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, deplorable me. I'm the only wretch in this chat. So any wretch you see, it's me. Like Cali Chica. Bye, bitch. You gonna come up here and do it again or what? You lied to me, Cali. I could never trust you in real life. You and your fucking angry boyfriend. Cali Chica's part of the La Raza. So she's right in with Rain and Rusty because they're Mexican. You click on my link there, bitch. I dare you. Cali Chica. Now, I have an observation before I leave. I've been thinking about this all day long, about what you see in the chats and going on. What I see are a bunch of people from Dougie's chat who all have wrenches over there, bickering and arguing. Which stems from Shannon's chat because Dougie's stuck right up Shannon's ass. And he has to stick his head up Tiffany's ass, too. So how does this work out? Just like how I said it. You got something to say to me, Siberian gal pal, you're welcome. Come up here and do it. You fuckers don't dare talk to me one-on-one. I need to go backstage with you. That ain't no big deal to me. Younger people do whatever they want. I did it once. Watched a movie at Wolfie's. Minions. It was pretty. It was a good movie. I like that movie. It was pretty good. I might have to watch it again. I haven't watched it since. DA thinks it bothers me. He calls me fat, so. And Log Liquor think it's bothered me. He's using my mother's pick. Makes me look good. You're thinking of my mother instead of your own mother. Coffee Man's thinking of my sisters. He ain't got nobody. What the fuck? That's all he has. You attack everybody too, Coffee Man. Fucking felon. One whack upside the head would fucking solve your problem. You'd run, boy. I know you would. I'll sleep good tonight. I hope it's fucking warmer than it was today. 50 degrees ain't all that comfortable. Better than freezing. $50 to 55 degrees is the temperature of the butcher shop when you're butchering meat. So it doesn't sit out at room temperature. 50 degrees is preferable. I had a question for the great chef, but he doesn't dare face me. And I have a question I know he fucking can't answer about cooking. All right, Dave Evans, the chef. Yeah. Excuse me. I mean, even 6 feet under, he came to realize that I know what I'm talking about. And I'm very good at what I talk about. Bechamel, eggs Benedict, hollandaise sauce, how it's made, certain terms. I do appreciate Gotti coming up here and drag. I guess I don't know. Am I part of Elderverse or no? Certainly been around since it started. Yeah, DA. I've been broadcasting over a year now. What have you been doing? Crying about Billy, you and FDU, all of them. I'll give her a couple more minutes. Finished with that joint. Probably don't need any more. All right. Good night, everyone. I'll see you later.